Hi everybody, Grandad here again. What am I up to today? Well, today I'm going to bring you a tale of 3 ships. It's 3 more of my models. Now, I haven't got a big story to tell you about these ships, but they are very interesting and quite intricate models. And I made them quite some time ago, and I've been looking up on the internet to see what I could find out about these ships, but to be honest, I couldn't find a lot of details. There was some information, but nothing that I could really use as a story as regards these ships. Now, I'll bring the first one in, and it's a Greek ship, and this is it. Now, I don't think you're going to be able to see it very well with the camera in this position, so what I'll do, I'll bring the ship over and then I'll move the camera so that you can get a better look at it. Now, I hope this is not going to wobble too much, but I'll bring the camera over, I'll bring you round, and we'll have a little look at this ship. Now, as you can see, it's a very long ship, and it's in full sail with its flags flying. And you'll notice straight away that it's got a lot of oarsmen on it. Now, in fact, there's well over 100. There's about 116 oars on this ship. About 58, I think it is, on either side. And they're in 3 rows. And I think the name of it, it's got the name on the front, and it's a Greek Triera, or some such name as that. Now, I think that refers to the fact that it's got 3 rows of oars on board. Now, this ship was a fighting ship. I think the Romans used similar galleys or whatever they call them to this. Now, they were known as slave ships, but from what I can gather, these ships weren't really used, or, well, they did have slaves and prisoners of war, I believe, but it was quite an honour to be an oarsman on one of these ships. And I'll just bring you in a little bit closer, and we'll have a look at this ship in a bit more detail. Now, there's a little bit of damage to it. I've lost a couple of the oars along the way, but there's a lot of rigging on this ship. I mean, that front little sail has got ropes everywhere and sort of rigging blocks, and then there's the 3 sets of oars going all the way along the side to the back end. Now, the interesting part about this ship is the back and the front. There's a little cabin on the back there. Not quite sure what that was all about, but this ship didn't have a tiller in the normal sense of the tiller. Usually tillers are things in the middle. I'll show you another ship in a minute that's got a large tiller. Now, these seem to be oars that were placed on either side of the ship, and if you look there, you can see this strange oar that isn't sticking out like the other ones, and it's got a handle on the top. Now, apparently this was used for steerage, so this meant that the ship could go forwards and backwards. Now, that was quite a significant thing with these ships, because if you look on the front end, and I'm saying this is the front because you can't really tell which is the back and the front, but if you look on the front end, there's this large piece that protrudes out the front. Now, that apparently was used to ram other ships. So if you were in a battle and you get up enough speed with your oarsmen and sails, you would ram into the side of another ship with that front piece. So then you'd have to reverse the oars and get the oarsmen to row the other way. And because there's no steering mechanism on the back there other than these oars, those oars could be lifted up and the ship could go backwards. And I think that's so that the ship could steer forwards and backwards in battle by use of the men on the oars. And it had a huge sail on it. There's a lot of rigging, you can see, on this ship, but it only seemed to have one very large sail, a small one on the front. And these are about 3,000 years ago, I suppose, during the Roman Empire and the Greek Empire. And so these ships were used in battle. Now another ship I'm going to show you is another one, and I'll bring it in now from the side here. If I can turn it round that way, I'll be able to see the name of this ship. Now this one is a much older ship. This ship is a well, it's got the name on the side there. I can bring you in, and it says it's a Hansa Kogge, Hansa, Hansa Kogge. Now it's a cob-built boat, which means that the boards that make up this boat are what they call cog-built, and they're lengths of plank fastened together all along the side. Now this is probably, and it's got a huge tiller. I mean, if you look at the back there, you can see the tiller on this ship, and in this particular instance I can actually move the tiller back and two. It's on a large arm, but it was controlled inside by a huge tiller, which I don't know whether you can actually see inside the boat there. You might not be able to see it, but just about there through the window you can see there's a large tiller there, which someone could hold on to, or a couple of men could hold on to steer the ship along. Now it's got like a castle at the back, which I think was used for sort of fighting or whatever. I don't think it was really a fighting ship. I think these were just general sailing ships. But again, it's only got one huge sail. Now these ships were used in the 10th and 12th century as a coastal sort of cargo carrying ship, I suppose. And therefore these were greatly used ships during that period. And it's one of my models. It took a lot of making. There's a lot of intricate sail making on this ship. And once again, I haven't painted it, but the rigging took a lot of doing because it's very complicated. And there's even a windlass in there or something there. It's a big gear wheels that you can see inside there, and that was for hoisting this sail, because the sail went up and it could be hoisted using these ropes from a winch at the top. So the sailboat would come down. Now I don't know how many people sailed on this ship, but it was quite a big ship, and it's got another windlass in the front there. That's a little bit damaged, but that would be wound by men walking round and round in a circle, and that would hoist up these anchors, because it's got two very large anchors on the side here. Very large anchors on it. And it's known as a Kogge. I couldn't find a lot of details on the internet about either of these ships, but I'm sure if you study them, if you're interested in them, you go on the internet, you'll find information out about them, and you can find out a little bit more. Now I'm making this film, and I'm calling it The Tale of Three Ships. So I've shown you two of them. Now I'm going to bring in the third ship. Now this ship, if I move this one across a little bit, and I'll bring it into the middle. This is a strange ship. Now I didn't make this ship, I bought this one. And there it is. Now this is a very peculiar ship. I might try and move these out of the way a little bit so you can get a look at it. Now this is a very strange ship. And I'm not quite sure what this ship is all about. Now I've looked up on the internet of these type of ships. Now it looks Chinese because of the shape of it, and it's got this large, what looks like a dragon's head on the front here. And again, I can't really tell which is the back and which is the front of this ship, but it looks a bit like a dragon. And then there's pieces there that could be dragon wings, and then there's flags, and a strange thing at the back which I thought was something to do with funerals. But maybe it's not a funeral, maybe it's like a little house. And as I say, you can't tell the front from the back. And another thing this ship's got is a lot of lanterns all over it. Hanging from underneath, there's an anchor there, and lots of little lanterns. Now, the base of this ship is made, that it's standing on, is made of wood. And in fact the whole ship is made of wood, but the wood has been covered all over in pieces of bone. Now it's not easy to see, but each one of these sections is a section of bone. Now it's definitely not ivory, because we've had a mention about ivory before, but this is not ivory. Now it's not intricately carved, it's quite crudely carved. And when I bought it, it was actually covered in black paint. Now I don't know why someone would go to the trouble of painting this ship black when in actual fact it's made of bone. I don't know what they were trying to hide or what reason that was done for, but I noticed it was made of bone, pieces of carved bone, so I scraped all the black paint off. So the paint now is only in the details, but it showed up the details, and it's a very interesting little boat. Now I think it's some kind of Chinese junk, or it might be what they call a dragon boat. Now if anyone has any idea about what this boat is, leave a comment in the comments, because I'm very interested in finding out exactly what this ship is all about. I haven't been able to find a picture of one, and all these various pieces that you see on there are all loose. They just sit in there, pegged in. And in order to store it, I pull it all apart. And because I haven't had it together for such a long time, I can't exactly remember how it all went together. So I may have some of these pieces in the wrong holes, I don't know. But I've tried to put it back together as accurately as I could to make this video. And it seems to have a little fence all around that little house or whatever it is, and lanterns hanging. And then there seems to be a fence round the dragon. Although there was a couple of pieces which I couldn't find where they fitted, and there does appear to be a piece, what appears to be a man standing in the middle there. It's not very clear, but that thing in the middle seems to look like a man, a little man standing in the middle of this boat. Now in front there's a hole. Now there was nothing in that hole as I recall, but maybe that was a steering wheel. I don't know, it may have been some sort of steering wheel, but this ship hasn't got a rudder. So I'm not quite sure how you steered it along, and it doesn't seem to have any oarsmen, so I don't know whether it was propelled by oars, and it hasn't got a sail. So I'm a bit perplexed really as to how this ship actually worked and what it was supposed to represent. And I'd be very interested if anybody knows, if they could tell me more about it. And that concludes my little 3-ship tale. It's only a very short video today, but I thought it was interesting, showing my battling ship of the Greeks, my 12th century Kogge ship, or Kogge, over there, and my strange Chinese ship. So I think I'll break off now, and I'll say bye-bye as usual, and you'll all have to catch up with me again. So here's Grandad signing off as usual. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye.